this reminds me of? When I worked at the helicopter company, helicopter support. It 1,000,000% reminds me of that. Band. Gone forever. Band. Gone forever. Band. Gone forever. Band. I worked for a major company, a helicopter company. It's called Aftermarket Support for Helicopters. Okay? They're flying around. Things are breaking down, parts are wearing out. We're a one-stop shop for helicopters. So I was told, we see potential for you. You're better than just working customer support. Revamp the business from ground up. You can map it out and find bottlenecks and find shortcomings and find helicopters so that our company runs more efficiently. Okay? So I busted my ass, I worked my ass off, I did double work, never got paid for it. And you say, oh, it's part of the process, man, it's just part of corporate America. Fuck you. Band. Gone forever. Band. Gone forever. Band. Gone forever. Band. It happened to me. Fuck you. Why don't you listen to me? You don't know shit. It happened to me. So shut the fuck up. Why don't you listen to me? Because no one cares.
That being said.
Hello. This is Phil Burnell. All right. And just wanted to tell you that I love the podcast. That being said, big ups. That being said, which vest is podcast best? That being said, relaxing, chill, interactive, fun. That being said, which vest is podcast best? That being said, relaxing, chill, interactive, fun. Team Insider, the legend, fantastic Mr. Sam, the dentist, Steve to the dead, psychological style host. Get well soon, man. Artistic style host. That being said, which vest is podcast best? That being said, which vest is podcast best?
If there was ever meaningful content, it's being produced right here on That Being Said.
Holy shit! Whoa! That joke. We cannot just remake what just happened in this chat room. But you were fucking legends. Big ups, everybody. Full house. Meerkat, Steve, Sam, and the king himself, June the King. The only one and true king in our eyes is June. How you feeling, June?
I'm feeling good. I got my coffee right here, and I'm ready for a good show. Whatever you guys have in store.
All right, so I have to ask you now. That are we your exit point for the Detractorverse, by the way? Are we this the last thing you're gonna do before you say get the fuck out?
Yeah, pretty much. Like there was one other thing planned, but that was canceled. So you guys are it. This is like until whatever the next video is. Maybe I might come back, but for now, yeah, this is it.
Okay, so we similar to when I was in my dating life, I often was the exit point for a lot of females' dating lives. But anyway, let's get to that.
That's rough.
Anyways, so we're done. Documentary done and dusted. All right, done and dusted. And what's your feeling right now as you are ready to get out of this world and work on your next projects? How you feeling about it overall?
I'm feeling satisfied, man. Like the reaction. I was afraid it would be like a bit negative because people want a lot out of these videos, right? After being in the space for so long, they want like everything covered, and that's like not really possible, like whatever their everything means. So to see the positive reaction, like on like not like positive, but like actually like positive, right? It's been great. I've actually like enjoyed it. It's been a different experience than like any other of my videos.
Mm-hmm. So about that, Wait, Sam, people are saying a lot of audio issues are happening. What's going on? You're on that?
I think other people are saying refresh. I don't think this is our end, so yeah.
Refresh, guys, refresh. Come on. It's not Discord call. Get out of here.
A lot of people are saying refresh.
Refresh. Let us know if it fixes it, though. Anyways, so obviously, you cover a lot of people, LTG, Wings, Boogie. DSP's always had to be on your radar, right? Was there a certain reason you decided to make it now, or was the demand so high you decided to do it? What made you decide to finally jump in and make this behemoth of a DSP documentary?
I think you answered my question that it was a behemoth of a DSP documentary. Like, there's so much, man. Like, 20 years of, like, shit to cover. Like, I took one look at it and I was like, dude, I really do not want to touch this. But I mean, I'm glad I did, just to get it out of the way. And again, the reception has been like really good, right? So it was people just asking me over and over.
Yeah, I was always confident in you. A lot of these assholes around me were not so confident, right, Meerkat? I think you're one of those not so confident.
As always, I just said wait and see. I was I was very fairly skeptical.
Yes, but obviously we all are obviously knocked it out of the park. We are all obviously filleting you very heavily.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. More, please, more.
So how about the interactions with Mr. Burnell? So I know you've had some interaction in the past. You might not even remember this, but he has said he's reached out to you before about reacting to his documentaries about other people, and you agreed, obviously, like you always do. But how about, did you reach out before you started the process of making this documentary to him again, or was that just you don't care and just started making it and then talk to him when you need information?
So if I'm remembering the timeline, because this is like I think like a year ago or so, it was even before I started like making the video on him, right? I was making other videos, and he reached out to me. Right? I didn't reach out to him and ever like tweeted at him. He reached out to me. He like crossed that barrier, and I'm like, okay. So now that I had him, like, you know, like, I guess it transitioned from him asking, like, hey, can I react to these videos, to the, like, having, like, a conversation, be like, okay, cool. Like, now I can make this video and ask him these questions that, like, people want answers to. So that's kind of, like, how that formed.
Okay, cool. And when you, after he reached out to you, I'd say, when you started going about this, was there any kind of restrictions or maybe warnings Sir Burnell gave you about things to look for as you begin making this documentary?
I think there was like a guiding to just a general one, right? This is just like my perception, like maybe a guiding, like, hey, look, my detractors are bad people, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, you get that from, like, all sides, like, oh, Phil's the worst person ever. I'm like, well, I've met people worse than Phil, right? So there was a little bit of that, certainly, but it wasn't, like, overwhelming. Like, you need to cover this, you need to cover that. It was just, like, slight inching. Overall, he was pretty kind of, like, neutral about it. He's like, you know, just touch on whatever. I'm like, cool.
Okay, interesting. I guess I want to know, he always kind of had a positive view of you for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe just cordial on DMs or whatever, or maybe you have enough subscribers. I think that's kind of a good barometer of Phil's liking of someone.
Or you've not like aggrieved him in some way. You've not insulted him.
It's kind of like that. So I guess this topic is fucking huge, right? DSP's the storyline of DSP is so vast. How did you even go about starting that? Do you watch other documentaries that have been gone out? I know you went fucking deep. You went into some places that not a lot of other people have went into the SRK world and stuff, and you got some old fucking videos that were hype. But how do you go about saying, I want to cover this, I want to cover this? What was your process there?
It like can vary like for person, but like people like DSP have been covered a lot, right? So what like pretty much everyone in my field does is they look at other like videos and documentaries that have already been present to get a sort of like timeline of what you want to cover, right? Like, okay, if you see like a certain piece covered over and over and over, you want to include that for sure. It's just like a lot of like that's the starting point. That's a jumping off point. If there isn't much available, like if someone is like Medicare, right? Like no one has really covered him. Like it's a harder process. Like for him and going through archives, but for DSP, it's just I start from there, from like other people's videos to just get like that.
And did you in this process? Before you really started getting into it, I guess in the process of that as well, did you reach out to anyone a little bit more close to the story? For example, let's say his friends John Rambo, maybe his ex-friend Howard, his ex Leanna. Was there any reaching out of those style people?
No, I didn't even make an attempt. No, for them, no. I wasn't gonna go that deep or like dive like that seriously into his personal life. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like the video was that serious. Like if I was doing like an in-person documentary, something like truly professional, I think that would have been like kind of necessary.
Yeah, I guess with people, he had to get one in there.
Yeah, sorry.
I guess for people like that, though, thankfully, there's a lot of footage already there. There's already, plenty of John Rambo. There's the whole John Rambo and Howard podcast, and then obviously there's all the Leanna stuff if you needed it. So it's, certainly with John and Howard, their side of the story's already there. So, I guess
there's so much Leanna stuff too. Like, I'm sure you guys know that there's so much that I didn't include of Panda Lee. I think like 5 hours or 6 hours of her like videos out there too. So much.
Those are something.
And what are some things that you can think of that you would have liked to include but just didn't manage to?
Well, if I had like, if I wasn't caring about like pacing too much, I think I would have included more of like Leanna just like talking. She can be like insufferable, right? There's like a part where she's like eating candy, just like shitting on her audience, I think, or Phil. I can't remember the exact video, but I just remember like the sound of the rappers. I was like, oh my God, I kind of hate this video. But it, like it had its own entertainment value, but I was like, I just kind of like want to move things along back to Phil.
Right? Yeah. The chocolate eating video is what you're talking about.
You know what
I'm famous. Yes.
Exactly.
So you're not confirmed not a Leanna simp. Then we can take from that, June. You are not a Leanna simp.
Well, no.
No. Okay. So about that, let's talk. I don't want to get too much into why didn't you include this? Why didn't you include that?
I mean,
I'm not going to get to that game.
It's all fair game.
So I want to talk about something called what we call around these parts the Incel Manifesto.
Right.
And what that is is something, just in case anyone doesn't know out there watching, is the Philip Less, the SRK had an SRK post that was on the all-female thread, by the way. That's where he chose to post this. It was 10 things that all women suffer from. I don't know how to say it, but he said they're all whores, sluts. You can't stand them for more than 10 minutes. It was very, let's just call it cringe and incelly. I don't know what else.
Right.
But you chose not to put that in. What was the thinking there? Because I know you know it existed. I think I shared it with you. I'm not sure.
You shared the screenshot. You didn't give me the source, and I just kind of like forgot about it. Honestly,
Okay.
It really didn't stick in my mind. I didn't even know it was on the all-female thread. I didn't see it in any other videos. I didn't see it in any forums or threads. It wasn't anywhere. So I didn't see it as that important. But now, as it's coming out, if people really wanted it, I think I would have included it if I knew there was this much,
Yeah, I'll take the L on that one. That's just one of those things that's
not
never
your
been covered
fault, but
before.
it's just to feel a perception check on me. Right?
No, you said earlier though, there's so much of it. Everybody wants everything, and that's just not possible. Some stuff has to be cut. Like I thought you'd probably go into Jasper and the bloodwork thing, and you didn't. And he's like, I get why.
Yeah.
Reasons of pacing and trying to keep it focused and keep.
And just forgetting. I really do forget. I'm like, oh wait, I could include this interesting bit. I forgot. Kind of deal.
Yeah. I think I joked with these guys the other week where after we'd watched it, it was like you could have had for every year, for instance, you could have had he also did these things this year as well, just to kind of clear it all away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Phil's description since the documentary's coming out is it is a nothing burger. And I guess P said people are figuring out that it's a nothing burger, and that's why it's not topping 1 million views yet. That's what DSP said. I'm just giving you the knowledge here. It's nothing burger.
It's fine. It really depends, what effect you wanted to have, because changing the perception of DSP, that's already solidified, right? It's just a refresher kind of deal. Everyone kind of knows. PewDiePie knows who DSP is. Everyone who knows DSP or will know DSP knows who he is and what he is. It didn't change anything, I think, but it did bring more attention back, right?
Well, you might say that, but have you heard about DSP's recent redemption arc, where now he's a different person and people like him now? Have you heard about that? And also, what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like it defined. I think that's my issue. That is my issue for it. Is what is a redemption arc? What does that even mean? Is it more views? Is it people like you? People say nice things about you. People say nice things about everyone. They say bad things about everyone. Are they even his fans? Are they the Kino Casino's fans? I just need it defined, and then I can dissect it easier. But I can
try that. I can think I can.
Go ahead.
Okay, so all right, so Kino Casino was very much they cover lolcows in a more broader sense than we do, right? Same thing we do, right? They talk about what shit lolcows do. We usually talk about shit that DSP does, and it's just a different kind of show. They were just as inflammatory on DSP as we were, if not more, right? They do said shit that I don't even say about. We don't say about Phil. They called very derogatory about his wife, very derogatory about everything about DSP. But they also made the point to call him king, and this is a very ironic king, though, because they were saying things like, wow, he's the king of begging. This is a fucking king. He has $150 and he's still begging. He's a king. And for the very socially adept DSP, as you know, he took this as praise for him and started to see them as a positive, right? And then they got together and Kino Casino, to their credit, picked up on this, like, holy shit, we can interact with Philip. This is going to be good for everybody involved. And Philip, though, latched onto this so hardcore that he thinks it's a legitimate, they really like me, even though when he was on their show, they're bringing up they're bringing up videos of Ethan Ralph jerking off on camera and saying, Phil, what's your expert opinion on this? You know, they also brought up when Ethan Ralph called his wife a horse, which is, I don't know if you know, that is something that some of those dirty detractors say about his wife himself and things like this, like sneak dissing to the max, right? But some of Kino Casino fans now have kind of made it a LARP meme thing to praise the king and all he does, and Phil thinks it's very real. Phil all thinks this is real. And the only change is that he's getting more money now because there's more eyes on him, and they want to keep the king streak going. But nothing has changed about Phil or his actions. Even he's gotten worse at the begging now since the streak has started.
Worse, yeah. He's been well emboldened by all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't ignore the line of logic they use, the new DSP fans, is that he's not bad because there's people that have done worse that are also lolcows. They're actual criminals that are lolcows, so you can't make fun of DSP because all he does is beg and have gout.
Yes. Makes sense?
It makes sense, but it's hard to like discern if they're like fans or like they're playing in with the meme. You know what I mean? Like
they're playing in the meme.
They got to be doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're gassing it up a bit.
Yes.
So
and they're getting
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, you go. Sorry.
Okay. What I'm understanding is like two, like looking at it, there's two perceptions of this redemption. There's like, you know, Phil's, and then there's like, you know, the other more realistic perception, and the more realistic one, I think it will be quite entertaining. It's going to open up Phil to way more drama, and the outcome of that will hopefully spice things up a lot more.
Yes, that's what I say. That we had to go through. I don't know if you saw, he interviewed Keem, and it was like the worst interview ever because just two guys glazing each other. But Keem had a very laser-focused aim for that interview. Yeah. He wanted to get him Phil's good graces, so now Keem can kind of get the puppet strings going here, and that's why he's doing things like reaching out to LTG, reaching out to Ethan Ralph, all of this because now Philip thinks everyone likes me again, and I have the internet all behind me, and that's why we're getting the good content like him interviewing side scrollers, interviewing Null. All that stuff is because of the gaslighting that happened. But it's something to watch. And again, nothing has changed from Philip's behavior at all. In fact, it's gotten worse, but he still thinks this is my redemption. I'm a changed man. Everyone loves me now. Anyways, moving on positively here. Let's Mirka, you have a question about that? Yeah.
Yes, I would like to mention, like we said, this current saga of the redemption has been a very different side of DSP that we've seen. And I'm interested if June has some particular impressions from all the recent content that happened. You know, Craig, Keemstar, all the weird drama. Is there anything that kind of stuck up for you and you think about it and it made an impression on you?
I mean, like the overall arc is very like interesting to me because it's happened several times, but it's usually a smaller window. So what I mean by that, it's like there's two arcs where DSP was supposed to be like redeemed by his own vision in the video. There was when he made fun of Pro Jared and he got like a lot of positive reactions. And he was like, hey guys, you guys like me now. And there was a second one where he was trying to be kinder and not insult people like out of the drama sphere. And that's how the side scroller interview kind of like got rolling because he's like, hey, I'm a changed person. And that was supposed to be the second redemption arc.
Yeah.
It's just a bit.
After you saw Sir Moist called him out, that was another redemption.
Right.
We've had quite a few.
So it's just like kind of like interesting the lack of looking back and seeing how these other ones, like what happened to these, right? And not only that is the last redemption arc was about him being a kind and nice person, not attacking anyone, staying out of drama, and this is a complete turnaround, right? And somehow that's supposed to like have the same like reaction.
Yeah, and DSP thinks everything that happens will go on forever. That you covered in the documentary here beautifully. When he's getting $180,000 a year, he just thought that was going to happen forever. It's like, why not spend money? You're going to keep making this. Why am I not going to buy figures? What's wrong with you? You know, and you cover that really good. I thought.
Yeah, the short-sightedness.
Yeah, there's no. He didn't know what. I mean, legitimately didn't know what a rainy day fund was. He thought it was what you save up for when it rains. Things to do on a rainy day. That's from his own words. I am not making any joke there.
Yeah, it's kind of short-sightedness, and also kind of the baseline for his expectations gets reset. It gets set to a different amount every time something happens. It's like, I'm having a redemption arc now, so I expect to see the same thing continuing, and if it doesn't, then you hear about it.
Yeah. Living like day by day, huh?
Oh God, yeah. Hogan by Hogan, some might say. All right, go ahead, Meerkat.
Yeah, I wanted to ask June, since you've been around for so long and you've basically talked about and covered and researched most people that are worth researching and covering, which one was to you the most interesting one?
Interesting. That's a bit hard. I'd say in terms of like being like different, I have to go back to the game dude. Right, because he wasn't malicious at all, but he was very like, I'd say disturbed. If you guys ever heard of a game dude,
I have, yeah.
Yeah,
I know of, but not a lot. But,
yeah. For that, it was just like the interesting part was not so much him, but just like the mystery around him. Like he just like had this huge impact, not like through his own doing, right? Like his videos weren't amazing, but he was an interesting person in the chaos that he caused. Like he went from being like a game reviewer, like trying to mimic James Rolfe, to like stalking his ex-girlfriend and then going homeless. But people didn't really like they only knew bits and pieces of that story because he would just like rant endlessly and like incoherently. But like watching like his videos over and over and over, there's kind of like a story there, and just like putting that together and like making sense of the mystery, and like it's still not solved. People don't know where he is. But just through that, I find it the most interesting.
Yeah, there's a little more mystery to that guy than DSP, who streams 6 days a week and says everything 10,000 times, But so what I got the vibe. Now this could just be my vibe. Please shoot me down, debug me, please. But as the documentary goes along, you'll get a little bit more of a salty June coming out towards Philip, right? So what I mean by that is you start a little bit, okay, SRK, he got fourth place at Evo, and yeah, this is because of that. But then you pick up the more pointed language. For example, saying overweight, aging, streamer, horrible with money, that kind of stuff. Is that just my vibe, or was that a June exclusive? You tell me.
I no, it's definitely there. It can be like hard to hide your biases sometimes because everyone has a bias, right? It just kind of leaks out or whatever. But I think that specific line was in reference to like the SOK and such, and that like these are not like good qualities. Well, I guess that is arguable, but typically these are not good qualities to have. Like and so for like the SOK and such to be hyper focusing on someone who isn't like all that like doing all that great was kind of like embarrassing. So in reference to that, like that wasn't so much in a direct attack on Phil, more so like, why are you focusing on someone who's like not doing so great anyways? Like there is no war to be fought, just have fun, kind of deal.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. And then, but I would say that it picks up another notch after you get like to like the WB Champions part, where it's like that one part, dude. That part hits so fucking hard. Can we play it? I got it. Can we play it, Sam? Bring up the thing. Can I play it for you? Make sure you can see it. So this part right here.
I love the bit where he moved. I didn't know
we can't do all the bits up, but here, Sam, we ready? I want you to see this, because this
ready when you are.
This is like sometimes you laugh at something out loud. Sometimes it's something that's so beautifully written, it's art. You can't believe it. I'm like deer in headlights. Did you say this? This part right here was my favorite part of the whole thing, June. Let me fillet you further. Go ahead.
You might have it muted.
Yeah, I can't quite hear it.
Oh, I'm muted? Oh, my bad. Hold on. I am muted. I will not be anymore. Here we go. Good?
Sorry.
No, I still can't hear it.
Fun of a bitch. Not my fault. Nothing I can do.
You've just got that the thing in video muted.
Okay, I got you. Here we go. Sorry.
Debt. The unsecured creditors on page 20 list all of Phil's unsecured claims, so items that had no collateral, such as personal loans and credit cards.
Here we go.
The page 1 of 7 on the bottom right corner was already hinting at the sheer amount of debt Phil had incurred. The only thing more impactful will be going through all the individual accounts. And so, number 1, $1,100 to an American Express card. Number 2, $6,400 on a different American Express card. Number 3, $26,000 to
You're gonna hear all of them?
Yes.
$2,000 to
Please.
BMW of North
It's a
America.
storyline.
Number 5, $10,700 to a Capital One credit card. Number 6, $14,100 to a Chase credit card. Number 7, $8,500 to a Citibank credit card. Number 8, $13,800 to a different Citibank credit card. Number 9, $15,600 to Citibank. Number 10, $10,000 to a Discover credit card. Number 11, $9,300 to Lenny Club Corporation. Number 12, $4,300 to Prosper Marketplace. Number 13,
And another one.
$800 to Sam's. And finally, number 14, $4,700 to U.S. Bank.
This is cool.
comes
Look
to
at
a
the
grand
animations
total
he's
of
got.
$131,550.28. The secured loans with collateral, include his car and Washington condo, which was now his only condo. To add to this, on
his
page
only.
19, viewers could see Phil still owed
Full
over
context, guys.
$100,000
Full
on his
context.
Connecticut condo,
We like the
which he
context.
originally purchased for $131,000.
So does DSP.
This means he was paying the minimum. Or if he really wanted to, he could have paid the entire thing off and lived there within just a few years of purchasing it. Instead, he is now here, 11 years later, owing the IRS $15,000, having virtually no credit, being stripped of what little he accrued and being returned back to nothing. Was it worth enduring a decade of trolls, daily streams, managing lies, and being hated in the only community you know?
Yes.
The answer is yes, because Phil has something almost no one else has.
This is such a code, bro.
Fuck yeah! Let's fucking go!
Let's go!
All right, I'll stop it. But let me tell you that I know it feels like a lot of buildup, but you beautifully went for it because that does hammer it fucking home about how incredible it is. All the credit cards, and then where does it all fucking go? Bam. So please tell us about the making of this section, which obviously was my favorite section. Beautifully done.
Making as in how, like, the editing or the writing or the, like, how I wanted to
Like,
find
how'd you
out,
want
or-
it to portray this? Because you really, I mean, this was like a highlight of the arc, right? I mean, you know, you had to hit this hard. You even made, you tell me, but the animations there seemed to like be made for this part, you know, to kind of get there. But you tell me. Yeah, yeah.
So the writing, the thought process was just to show, like, the juxtaposition between something as serious as, like, you know, all these debts accruing over time. Like, this is a very serious matter about, like, how this person is, like, being, like, I guess, harassed or whatever on a daily basis, and for what, right? Like, well, I guess that's before. So just showing, like, the serious of it all, like, going really slow, slowing down the pacing so people can understand just how much money was spent. And, like, people, like, the mystery is on what is he spending it on? Like, it's building up, building up, building up. And I remember, like, specifically on my editor's notes, I put, like, I want there to be something really intense after this segment. I want, like, a complete, like, turnover, just make it, like, silly and fun. And this is what they did, just to show, like, really? This is where all that debt built up and was spent on, like, all of this for, like, a mobile game? Like, I wanted to bring forward that insanity.
Because it's something like it's probably happened 100 times before where, you know, detractors have cobbled together the two things. You know, they've said, here's where here's the bankruptcy, smash cut to WWE champions, but to lay it out in that way, it took it up to 100. You know, it was like it was just it's what we're all imagining, but it's there on screen for like the first time. And I think that was what made it. It's like the standout moment for sure.
Yeah,
And,
like
even he, during your interview with him, he mentions that this is the part where he decided to admit and come clean about all of his things he's been lying about, because he basically knew that you had so much evidence that he could just not disprove, unlike when other detractor videos have all of this evidence and he can just wave it away and say that they're lying. And then he just admitted that this is the part where he felt cornered and he had to come clean about. But it was also pretty weird to me that later on, about like a couple of minutes after this segment, he mentioned that he thanked you for showing all of his mistakes so he could finally come clean, which is kind of implying that he wouldn't come clean about it unless he was cornered the way you cornered him.
Correct. So, yeah, go ahead. I think June had the two characteristics of showing all the evidence in a very easy to understand way and being someone that Philip wants to be positive with, have a positive relationship with, because there have been videos that showed the same thing, not as clear as beautifully as this, and also you have millions of subscribers. So you had the magic
I have
mix
billions,
that...
actually. Billions.
Yeah.
That's correct. No, but I can't really take too much credit for this. I really do think it was the Kino Casino, right? They kind of like, I guess, massage this all the way through, and I think Phil just wanted like more of like an epic point to really like, hey, like, you know, like the grand reveal. But I really do think it was the Kino Casino that really brought this forward, right? Throughout.
I'm not sure, because this was been in the works like a year before he even knew Casino existed. So
Yeah,
there is some like influence of them in emboldening him into being like, yeah, I'm a bit more willing to joke about it. Yeah, we even play it on stream now. It's fine, you know. But this was still like the point where he's like, okay, I can't put it off anymore. But I'd sort of like wanted to ask you how you felt about him then, like not really admitting to it, because all he did was go, well, I was down from the rafters. I'm not anymore though.
So, you mean the selling of the account?
Yeah.
I can see the disbelief, and I'm kind of like there with you, but like I would like to know what people can like scrounge up and then look at those aspects. To me, it would just seem kind of like strange to have like this addiction and just like drop it like out of nowhere, out of the blue. Like, if that is the thing, where is all the additional money, like the vest streak and such? Where has that gone to? Right, like where is the rest of that money going to?
And not just drop it. He sold the account and then just made another one and is still playing. Like, why would you think an addict would do that, especially a mobile game addict who got to a certain point in the game where he has one of the strongest accounts and just sell it for pennies and start over? It's just, I can't believe this.
It doesn't. Yeah, go ahead.
There's, it's hard to like believe. It's gotten to such a point where he can say whatever, and the interest is not on like it's not like in the belief. Like, there is no possibility of like what he could say can convince anyone, right? He could like say like, oh, I'm still playing it, or like, I don't know, like his words just are out there to be disproven, right?
Yes.
That's kind of what it is. Like, people know, like, you know, if you know, right? You can see clearly through what he's saying. It just creates another thing that makes it a bit more fun to be like, oh, well, you lied again. But I really,
Go ahead, June. I'm sorry.
Oh no, what I was gonna say is, I really am wondering where like this investigation or such, the legwork of people like looking into this kind of stuff will end up, right? Because I truly don't have too much an opinion, because I just don't know, but I don't believe it either, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know where it's going to end up, but I think at this point you pretty much understand why so many people are trolling this guy and so many people are nitpicking everything he says, because he lies about stuff on a regular basis, and he's so smug about it, and he's so condescending and patronizing about it that it makes people feel satisfied when they prove him wrong. And that's why this search engine about him exists, and that's why his Kiwi Farms thread is so big that they needed to make another one. And that's why people on Twitter are going crazy about this guy. People in Discord's talking about him, because it satisfies you when you actually prove this motherfucker wrong, because he is such a bitch about every single thing.
Yeah.
The thing about that too is, go
ahead. You please. Go ahead.
The thing about that too is like, it's interesting. I feel more entertained than like hatred, right? I don't really dislike Phil at all, and that's just like, because Phil to me is like a safe kind of like interaction with someone who's like not very well developed, right? Because they have all these like really gross people online, but Phil does it in like such a fun way, and his smugness and such, I think that's kind of like, it's cool. I like it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's awesome. Like, keep being smug. It's great. Just keep doing it.
Exactly. That's why I think that when people get consumed by their hate of DSP, they just fall off and lose themselves in it instead of just looking at it from some kind of a fun perspective of like, this guy is too crazy to be real. I need to like stick around to see what the fuck's gonna happen, because this guy has the craziest shit happen to him.
And that seems to be the angle that Kino Casino are taking. You know, some people may disagree. I'm not sure, but they seem to know this and massage his ego enough to the point where we are now, and you just get gold dust, So
they're trying to get the most entertaining Philip possible. I'd say that's very safe to say, and they're trying to mold it into this most entertaining Philip possible we can get to, and we're getting there for sure. But another thing I want to say is because people say like, who cares where he spends his money, and that's totally cool. No, I don't think where people spend their money is none of their business. But as Jude, you point out in the documentary, it is your fans' business when you make it your fans' business over multiple marathons to get money to save your life, right? So say you talked about all these. Save the house, smash the taxes, gotta see my parents for a wedding or whatever, like all these things. The cat thing. It's all these things are asking fans to, I need money or my life will be very negative now, when all the while he was playing WB champions, and he's admitted to it now.
And you can even break this down to a smaller scale where he's just going to say, I can't afford to have my day off if we don't hit this goal. And then he will just sit there and wait people to give him money. How is that not the fans' business about your personal finances?
And now he'll say it's none of our business because, but he made it his fans' business his whole entire career. Even though he wasn't begging in 2010, he was still bitching about views, as I'm sure you saw, Jude, So he was always bitching about something that he wasn't getting from the audience. It's always been there since the beginning. But it's just changed now from, I don't get enough views to you, so I'm not getting enough tips from you. And now it's just way more direct. But anyways, I do want to move on here to I respect you also for your covering of the incident, right? And you kind of you didn't go through that. It wasn't a big subject, which I appreciated because it's kind of what are you going to go
Everyone
there?
knows it kind of
it's this and that. But it actually is the most rewatched part of the documentary. Did you know that? I saw
that. There's just this big bar. It's like, oh, well, there you go.
Yep. Because some people,
that's why.
It's very solid. Very solid.
I like the idea of people just clicking on it just to watch that bit. Just like, where's the bit? What's the bit where he jacked off on stream? Oh, there it is.
Hang on a second.
Is it this guy? Yeah, that's the guy.
It's him. It's the guy.
That's the guy.
So I meant to ask you before we got into the documentary itself, but like going into this, what were your thoughts of DSP, right? Positive, negative, you knew about the incident and that was it. What were your overall thoughts of DSP before you started making it?
Well, the more I get into like the creator space, the more like unserious I kind of like see the more I think about like it as entertaining, right? So to me, I saw Phil as a not likable person, but also I respect his time online and like the chaos he's brought along with him. It's hard to find that like someone who is like DSP, and as dysfunctional as he is personally, he is so perfectly dysfunctional where it makes it entertaining. So my views were like, yes, I can see like I wouldn't trust him that much because he's a liar and such a, but I do respect his history and the entertainment it's brought on. So those were my perceptions.
Yeah, fair take. How about the bank leaks? So you definitely covered the bank leaks, and obviously we all know they were gathered illegally. None of us condone any of that shit like that. But did you ask Phil about that at all? I wanted to ask that specifically because it's very easy for him to debunk those bank leaks, right? Especially to somebody trusts like you. And I just want to know, did conversation come out about those bank leaks to say hey, it's not me, or did he just say, hey, it's not me?
I don't remember. I really don't remember like the Twitter conversation, but what I do is that he addressed the bank leaks and he was really like on like stream or whatever, right? Like he didn't address it, but he's like, hey guys, this thing happened, like, like something really personal in my life. Like it was like a stream like close to the bank leaks or whatever. Like, I can't believe people are doing this to me. And it was like, to me, that told me that he was not going to break on it. Like even when I asked him about the, the $5,000 in business expenses, if he wasn't going to come clean with me on that, then like, and to me, like, that's just like another aspect. It's like denying the bank leaks also, it's a weird thing. You can't accept or deny in DSP's position. Because if you accept it, you're like, well, look, this is how I wasted all my money. But if like you deny it, you can't really point out how awful like these people are for like hacking into his, like just getting like that information from him, because that is really intrusive. Yeah. So it's a weird position that he's really in.
I like. Did you think about? Because like obviously you kind of, let's say, showed you believe them to be true, or here's what the facts are. You can come up with your own conclusions. But did you ever think about, because there is like some stuff that's it's just him. Like, I don't know if you heard about the famous Kaching sandwich story, where he took Kat for her birthday to the Kaching to Burger King.
Yeah.
I'm telling this story without an ounce of irony or comedy, guys. He took Kat, his wife, to Burger King for her birthday meal, and it had too much sauce on it. So he wrote an email to Burger King and tweets about it and stuff. And that's on the bank leaks, actually, that Burger King trip, which is on her birthday, which is, it'd take a very dedicated troll to put together a bank account that's doing that, I guess you'd say. But did you think about showing anything like that, like definitely says, this is fucking him, right? Because there's many instances like that on the bank leaks.
Well, I don't know. The bank leaks weren't like that big of a deal to me because it was one of those things that like the investigation was set on WWE champions, right? To me, he was also denying the bank leaks because of the tie to microtransactions, which he still is. And if he undid the thread about WWE champions, which he did, and moves it on to other things, like you said, the the selling of the account and the microtransactions on the bank leaks. So it just wasn't really the focus because to me was that, and that was like behind it, but like. I don't know. Like there are some like more definitive things you could ask, like Google statements, like payment, right? Like how would someone know that? Like someone could like know about like the Burger King thing because they can like be really like crazy and obsessed, like unlikely that would ever happen, and watch every single video and catalog it. But like definitive like receipts, like the Google stuff, like payments, whatever, like that can easily prove that they're real.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but, that's fair enough. Yeah,
people believe what they believe. I guess.
Yeah,
and it's also it's interesting enough that it could be proven as easily from his side that something is fake, yet he never does.
Yeah, no, I know. So that things are pretty clear. You know what I mean? Like, not many people are really fooled at this point.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Go ahead, Steve. Looks like you had to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say because it's like you can't go too in detail with it because again you sort of pacing and time, and it is like just a part of the wider champions puzzle. So it's like you have to briefly outline these things and go, here's how it links to champions, here's how it shows this, here's how this evidence, but you can't go like too deep into it unless you're doing like a director's cut of you.
Unless there's like any like specific like transaction, like you're saying the Burger King thing, like something that people really wanted. That's something I could have focused on.
Yeah, but I think it's fine. I mean, there's so much shit on there. It's like anyone with a brain can see who it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that. Like all this work you've done on film, and not just like the 4 hours of the documentary, but like all the stuff you learned and felt, I cut that. I can't keep it in, and there's still stuff you're finding out. Like, I love your proper when you found out like Derek took his mum's credit card. You're like, what?
I did not know. I didn't know
so
that.
People are spamming in chat, so I got to ask about. I know you answered this on proper show anyway. So like Derek thing, you wanted to keep. You answered him like you want to keep it focused on DSP.
I'm Phil. Like so Derek, he so bizarre to me. Derek, like to me, like everyone has those kind of fans in their audience. I guess I just don't understand what it does to focus or like ban him. Right? What does banning him do?
Well, I guess not. Well, what's more interesting to me now is that he knew about this for 2 years and would give him special treatment. Yeah. So I understand you're saying you don't want to ban him. What is that? But
no, it's not that I don't want to ban him. Like I don't want those guys in my community, right? If you're like
so it's simple
my way, I don't want that. But go ahead.
It could be as simple as that, though, right? So like I know he's done this. I know my fans don't like him because they know about it too. So he's kind of like a negative to be in my community. You know what I mean? So, but Philip chose to defend him and let him do things that no one else could do, spam in the chat like an asshole endlessly. You know what I mean? And just be a general douchebag in his chat. Yeah, nuisance. That's the best way to say it. And then when Philip was bullied for 20 minutes by Kino Casino guys to finally ban him, as it should have been a long time ago, Philip's first words were, "I'm sad for 2 reasons." You know, so it's kind of is. If you know of this happening, it seems like a very easy thing to do is just to ban a known, proven pedophile from your community that you've known about for 2 years, and he chose not to do that. I guess that's the mystery of why not. But it sounds like you think there might be something more to that you might want to ban someone like that. Or what's your take on that? I guess.
Well, people like okay, so I don't know that he is a pedophile. Like I've only been sent screenshots, so I don't know if like those have been manufactured or whatever. I don't know what like. For sure, but if those are real, that's pretty fucking gross. He like the screenshots that I saw were like playlists were like cute like child or some shit like that, and like that's nasty. But the thing is, to me, like beyond that, like so my thought is first, Phil was keeping him around because of the donations. Am I right? He was getting.
In the very beginning, he stole his mom's credit card. This is proven from him. Though he stole his mom's credit card and was donating to Phil like a subscription or whatever. Then that got cut, and Derek told everybody about what happened, I believe. And then then there was no money anymore. So for years, there's been no money involved at all. And Derek and Philip still defends him for whatever reason we don't know.
Yeah, so my guess is Phil kept him around for the possibility that he might donate more. But I like beyond being a nuisance, like I don't understand why the community would want him banned. Like if Derek is giving like more information about himself or like what he's doing at the moment in the chat, like wouldn't you want that information for a possible pedophile and such? Like, right? Isn't that like something that you want to be like know more about?
I think it's because this was his like safe space. Like this was where he would be defended by.
It's a punishment. You want to like attack.
It's not necessarily that, but it's like
I don't say attack. I say ban. That's just easy ban for me. But
no, I mean like I personally will. I'm just trying to get like into the mind of Phil. Like I wouldn't want that chaos around me. Right?
Okay,
What he actually told Kino Casino and Null was that if he bans Derek, then the trolls would win. And that means that the trolls would get that's actually what he said. The trolls would win. So the trolls would get permission to look into other fans of DSP that may or may not be pedophiles.
That doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's why they had to convince him for 20 minutes to ban this guy, because it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I would like, I don't want this kind of people in my community, people who may even just be interested in kids, right? But then again, like I'm saying, I just don't really get the benefit of against Phil, right? If you're going against Phil and have this person on there, like, wouldn't you want this person to keep on talking? Let's say, right?
To give away.
Well, get a confession or something, you know, like, hey, what did you do today? Or you were at the park. Oh, that's interesting. What are you doing at the park? Right? Like,
yeah. I think. Well, Philip is, you know, very socially inept. Let's say, not developed or whatever. He just didn't know how to even make a decision of his own like that, which would be an easy decision for most people, I feel. But you know, even how he interviewed you the other day, he says like, "Well, June, I gotta ask you this question. A lot of people are saying this." Instead of just saying his own thoughts, he'll frame everything like that to like not be responsible for his thoughts. You know what I mean? I'm sure you picked up on that when you were interviewed by him, right, June?
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't want to be like an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like no, I do want to explain that because I feel like that might be like a feeling. So during that like thing, I really wanted to be like, I should say safe as possible, because that I really did respect Phil for watching the whole 4 hours and even like getting into a space with me. So I did want to be like softer just because he did so much. I'm like, you know what? This is kind of cool. Let me just get the more prominent points and just like get that, but I didn't notice that. That's like, oh, interesting. Okay. But you know, bring it forth.
Just like everything negative was someone else's mouth.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. But I want to know during the watching, right? Because he would say himself on the streams, like, "Oh, I'm going to send June a note here about this part. Oh, let me send June a note about this part." Was he sending you a lot of notes like during the him watching that stream? Because he said he was doing it. I just don't know if it's true or not. He said he was.
He sent me just one note one time, and he was very cordial about it. It's like, hey, like, look at this. Like, I'm not saying change it, but just like, look at this. I think this may be wrong. And I was like, well, Phil, I don't think it is. He's like, no, man, it's cool. Like, it's whatever. It just happened like one time, and I was like, okay. Like, he was really chill about it. Fair enough.
Sam, if you could bring up one more clip, I want to talk about this topic if I can get it up here. This is way shorter, but I do want to get your take on this. You ready, Sam?
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
Okay. Here we go.
Things that aren't true. Whatever.
He just talked about how his policy is always honesty, but that's not important. Next part here.
We know you're spreading the
Phil lies so much, it is hard to know what is fake or fact. His bankruptcy files remain king due to them being legal forms. Then you have lesser evidence like the Discord screenshots or even the bank leaks that could theoretically be faked, but the coordination and dedication would make these chances minuscule. Yet Phil gravitates more towards wild theories himself as a way to represent them and paint the detractor community poorly as a way to also dismiss the valid criticism. And this somewhat works with his fans who have been doxxed, are people with disabilities, are socially inept, or are just lonely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about that. So how did you come to that conclusion about DSP's fans, right? About, what you think of them, the actual fans. I'm not talking about LARPers. I'm talking about the ones that are there for the true, unfiltered DSP content gameplay. How did you come to that conclusion?
Well, I mean, they told me. I mean, like, okay, so my sample size was just like maybe 3 or 4, like 2, like interviewed, like, some X fans too. That, yeah. But it's just like an observation, like how the kind of people who are in the chat, like who you see over time, and like the people who you've seen, like I guess, like docs, which is like pretty fucked up because like they are like mentally not capable people, and they're they're getting their shit out there. But that's just like it's the internet, so I'm not gonna say like you do whatever. But it's just the process that happened to him, and it like really explains why he's had these fans, because he had like a big audience, right? And it's essentially just been boiled and like purified to comfort viewers and these kind of people. And like the more I talked to them, the more it made sense, where like again, like they didn't have many social interactions and they felt attached to this person, and it was just like kind of like sad talking to them, right? They're like, oh, I kind of like feel he's my friend, and like he needs money sometimes, so I just chip in. He's like a pal. I'm like, dude, this is rough.
Yeah
They're rough.
That's what I mean. We kind of all thought that, obviously, from you can see the chat, what it's like. I mean, it's just like the people, like you said, like I think you did praise Phil for like, what does Phil offer, right? What does Phil offer on the greater internet? And of course, he offers lolcow content for all the people that like to see people do stupid stuff. All right, that's fine. But next level down, let's talk about the hardcore, real DSP fans. He offers consistency and little else, right?
He's really good at that. He's genuinely really good at that.
And, some people that do need that consistency or want that consistency. I know my friend Phil's going to be on stream twice a day. He's going to beg the fuck out of me, but I don't care because he's there every day, and that's fine. And also, another aspect I wanted to ask you about is, who do you think else can be there when you treat your fans like shit? I mean, let's just call it a spade a spade. He asks them for money every single day, and if you don't give money, it's your problem, not DSP's problem. Guys, I don't know what's going on here, but you guys need what normal human wants to put up with that behavior, right? I mean, would you agree with that, G? I know you put the fucking montage of begging up there, lots of them. So, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I know what you mean, and I just feel bad. I feel out of everyone in this space, they are probably the unluckiest.
Oh yeah.
We've seen when like people do leave, when fans stop being fans, and then they talk and they say like, by the end of it, I wasn't even there for Phil, I was just there for chat. It's like that. It's the social interaction. It's a community.
It's a community. That's true. That is true.
Yeah. That's the important bit.
I would like to ask you for a moment there, because DSP is so adamant that having a documentary about his detractors would be so much more interesting than a documentary about him. What would you think a documentary like that would look like? What is your overall take on the detractor community as a whole?
I had some thought about that, and like if we're talking about the detractor community, I assume you mean like the polar opposite of his fans, the real crazy ones, who are as like mentally capable, I suppose, the more intense ones that just like really get into it, right? That are attached for the same reasons of consistency and just hatred. I was thinking about it, and like it's actually could be like a really cool idea if done in a certain way, right? And that is like more like in person. And if you like have like Phil, like going through Walmart shopping, and then you just cut through like some guy like on the computer, like I just fucking hate this guy. I've been watching for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like these two opposing parts, and having them like meet, that could be really cool. But it just has to be done with Phil, right? It'd be really hard not to do it with Phil. It would have to be like something more high end or professional. But if it's like my kind of video investigating these people like online, it kind of probably wouldn't be that entertaining. At least not to me.
But what about the more lighthearted ones? I mean, you can take a look at this channel. You can take a look at a bunch of other channels. I mean, for fuck's sake, we made a fucking song competition about this guy 2 years in a row. So I know it's weird, but as an outsider, what is your take on that? On the people just casually enjoying making fun of DSP and ridiculing him.
Yeah.
To me, it's just intention, man. Like, have fun on the internet. It's entertaining. Like, this is just like, bullshitting and like having fun. Like, it doesn't really do anything like bad to feel you're not like, sending to the police or whatever. Like, I think it's cool. But like, I think like also having a singular channel on one person can be a bit strange if people take it too seriously. But I don't think you guys give a shit. I think you guys are here for like the fun. But overall, I feel I find people who focus on one person and the more intense they get, like if they bring like morals into it, I'm like, okay, this is a bit weird. But you guys don't give a shit, so it's like it's cool, right? Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, and it's you rightfully pointed out how Phil likes to group every detractor as if they're one detractor, and they are that most insane, crazy detractor, right? Like, if when he got swatted, he said, if you've watched This Is How You Don't Play, you attempted murder. It's like, all right, it's like it's a big
that's a big leap.
Yeah, so you did a good job of pointing that out. That's not
less than a year ago. He made a point by saying the SOK wasn't even that bad. They were giving me criticism as to move the goalpost, in which the current day detractors are actually much worse because they're clipping him and noticing everything he says and calling out all the times he's been bullshitting. And then he admits to bullshitting. So it kind of justifies those people doing that thing.
Yes, I think like the SOK sort of put a lot of detractors off, like interacting with Phil altogether or touching the poop or trying to fuck with him and stuff like that, because everybody saw how bad that was and went, okay, we're not like that. Let's
do you want
just
to
here for the fun and the laugh.
Yeah.
I do want to get into so the ending kind of what about, because the ending, it does kind of seem like a boom, I'm done. And it kind of was a quick ending. Would you agree? Was there more planned to that? Was there any kind of time constraint on that? I thought the ending was kind of abrupt, I guess, let's say.
Oh, no, that's fine. Like, I don't know. I didn't want to, like, I just didn't have anything, like, majorly conclusive after, like, 4 hours. It just, to me, it kind of ended, like, how there is no ending, really, because DSP is eternal. Like, you feel like there can be, like, kind of, like, arcs. Yeah. But even in the video's sake, it's just like hard to find something conclusive where it's like, well, he's just going to keep on going, kind of.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up actually. Something I wanted to ask about as someone that's made videos and had the thought of doing the comprehensive documentary or whatever. But that's always my concern, is that the moment you put it out, it's almost already outdated. And is that, like, I know obviously you've done follow-up videos before, but is that something that's there in the back of your mind, like bugging you that I need to go back and do a part 2 or whatever,
It's only like again depending on the creator. For Phil, there hasn't been like a video this expansive, so I am satisfied in just that. People will cover like the smaller bits, but people overall, because of like what Phil is, just wanted like a more comprehensive bit. So even though it is out of date, I do think it will go strong for the next couple of years, because this will be the for the next couple of years until the bigger thing comes along. But let's say for like Dr. Disrespect, I need to get like the more recent things out there, because these events are truly impactful to the story and where he's going to end up. Whereas in the recent things, like let's say in Phil, won't really change, I feel, anything. Like
it'll carry on.
Yeah, just carry on.
And the recent changes in his story are your fault as much as they're Review Tech USA's fault and Kino Casino's fault, because this guy was so paranoid that your video was going to destroy him that he made friends with a drama channel so he can dunk on Review Tech USA.
Yep.
Oh, is that what happened? I didn't realize.
Yeah, he was prepping for this coming out for a long time. He was kind of downplay the SRK, saying people can edit the posts. I mean, you don't even know what's going on there. And he was trying to say lots of things like that to kind of get ready, pre-bunk, as I call it, pre-bunk your documentary. He was doing for months. And joining with Kino Casino kind of was part of that as well, I think. Like, I'm cool now, guys. Yeah, I did some fucked up shit back then, but who cares? Come on, I'm cool now,
That's interesting. That's so bizarre. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like everyone. This video is just like, oh yeah, I know this, right? It's like,
yeah,
that's interesting. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And the big peak in his redemption saga was when he joined Kino Casino to dunk on Review Tech USA's documentary that you made about him.
Uh-huh.
Oh right.
Because Rich and Phil, those two don't really like each other. And Rich has made fun of Phil numerous times, and now it was Phil's turn to make fun of Rich, and he got the last laugh.
Now we're on LTG now, so that'll should go
yeah.
well. I don't know if you.
It had to
be
have,
interesting.
had to have put it in the back of his mind though, like because obviously he knew the video was coming, and so he's like, "Oh, it's probably just going to be another." I mean, there's been the turkey tom down from the down the rabbit hole, and then he goes on to Kino Casino because it's like, "Hey, here's this opportunity to shit on someone I hate with other people who also shit on this person that I hate. So let's do it." And after seeing like the absolute, like the dismantling of Rage, goes, "Oh shit, yeah, he's also making a documentary about me." So for like the last month or so, it's been stuff like I'm going to tweet the word down, like a picture of it, and nothing else.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, from
One funny aspect of this is I know you've heard of at least, or if not seen, Turkey Tom's video saying a decade of failure, I believe is the correct name.
Decline.
The decade of decline, I forget, whatever it was, one of those negative terms, but he considered that a negative title, but yours wasn't. And I want to remind everyone, the title June went with was The Eternal Downfall, but that wasn't as negative as Turkey Tom's for some reason.
Yeah, no, it's super bizarre. Like, aren't like mine and Tom's videos like even though like mine's longer, but like they're ostensibly like the same thing. They have the same theming and whatever. Like we did a very similar video. Like, so that's just a bit strange.
It's one of those interesting things that I think we probably wanted to touch on here was what is it about certain videos that he considers to be positive versus say something that say a Secret Limited would put out covering the bank leaks or covering everything to do with champions, etc. Which it's much more microscopic on one subject, but it's all the same stuff. It's like, why is June's video okay and that not, kind of thing, and or any other detractor video or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't know. Maybe Tom like poked too much at him, so he dismissed him or something. I really don't know. Like, it might be just like purely personal. His personal
it's all framing.
Views.
I think framing.
Because like I said, like this video and the contents of it have been out there for quite a while.
It's just about, like, the dirty detractor. That's
he is. Sorry, if you think about the type of narcissist he is and how like insecure he is and all that stuff, it's easy to sort of like see videos like Turkey Tom's, the title of it, so feels like offended by that, and like with the Down the Rabbit Hole, that's not overtly hostile. That's just like very like as matter of fact as could be. So that's okay to react to. And the Secret Limited, you've insulted me because of you know that thumbnail with the horse's head, and so it's definitely like how it's framed in terms of whether the content is hostile to him or whether the creator is taking an outwardly negative view of him. And I think you just perceived yours and like the way you did Rich's and as different because he'd been involved in it. He'd been telling you stuff. You'd asked him things and you were cordial with him. So
yeah, I do try to be like forward with Phil. Like anything I'm telling you, like right now, I would like tell like at like towards Phil if he asked or whatever. Like I do try to be like consistent, like not try to like egg him on like much. But maybe that's it. Just cordial, right?
Yeah.
Could that be it?
Well,
I do
to
have
be
to
fair.
ask,
from all that we know, he never actually watched Turkey Tom's video. He just saw the title and was upset by it, and he was ranting about it for a long time. And also, since he watched your video on Keemstar and your video on Wings of Redemption, he sees you as the only factual style documentarian on YouTube.
Yeah.
The guy who always fact checks everything and always comes through with the truth of the matter. So I think that's why he respects you.
Maybe that is interesting. Like from the other videos I've seen, like they are pretty factual, but I can see how maybe just like my history, like seeing like these other people I covered, I can't really tie them like what that is.
Well, I'm gonna give you a hint right here. He doesn't like any of them. He doesn't like Keemstar. He doesn't like Wings of Redemption. So he's just willing to believe whatever's in the video.
Oh, I see. I see. Yes. Okay, you've enlightened me. Thank you. Yeah.
And also, during his side scroller interview, he mentioned a bunch of stuff that he heard in your video, and he said that directly to Keemstar. And then all the guys on the panel were like, "Well, why do you believe all the stuff that's talked about Keemstar in his video, but we shouldn't believe anything that people say in your video, which was a very interesting part.
Oh, I guess the hypocrisy of that.
Yeah. That was a big part of the Side Scores interview. It's like when other people have documentaries, you believe every fucking word. Ah, that's fucked up what Keemstar did. The documentary said it. But when it's a documentary about Philip, now hold on a minute. This is not, he doesn't know the right story here. Something's incorrect here, just typical.
Hypocrisy as a whole was the theme of the interview, wasn't it? Like, you don't make racist jokes, well, explain this joke.
Yeah.
A year ago.
Well, I guess now, in retrospect, the theme of the interview was lying, since he lied about a bunch of shit.
Lied to them for 5 hours, right to their face, and then got pissed when Craig was, endlessly declining to apologize, and finally said, "All right, Phil, I mean this with all due respect, go fuck yourself," because that's exactly what Philip said to them 3 weeks earlier. But anyway, let's not get too deep in side scroller stuff. I do want to ask you about yesterday. Whenever you did the interview with Philip, he asked, could he ever get out of being a lolcow? And you answered that very honestly, and I respect your answer a lot. Said you're kind of stuck there. You know what I mean? But do you? What is your definition of a lolcow? Right? I'm just interested in that.
My own personal definition.
Mm-hmm.
It's someone that doesn't learn from their mistakes, and that is who they are at the core, right? But it's like more than that, because it's not really like you have people like from all walks of life, right? It's not really like intelligence thing. It could be like an ego thing, because Boogie is not the smartest person ever, yet it's clear why he wouldn't. And then not Boogie, Wings isn't.
Yep.
Boogie is like significantly smarter, yet he always tumbles and keeps doing these kind of things. No matter what, that is a theme, and it's just not learning from your mistakes. That's what creates one. That's how you develop. But of course, it's also the safety of it, right? These things that these people do are more funny than horrifying, because I think there's also the term horror cow, where things get too gruesome, where you don't want to engage in it.
Yeah.
So it's both on the personal, on their side, it's not learning from their mistakes. But on the viewer side, it's more so that it's easier for the average person to really look at these constant mistakes and laugh at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a line between big difference between Cyrax and DSP for me personally, because one of them has serious issues and one of them is just a underdeveloped, man-child, let's say, not socially developed person, But yeah.
What are some lolcows that you enjoy personally?
I don't really look at many, honestly. I just the most I get is scrolling Twitter, but I don't really keep up with them. The most I might every now and then, maybe bi-yearly, right, is maybe Wings. I think Wings is one that I might at VidCon. That seems to be one of the bigger conversations, because you can stomach him more than, let's say, Buggy or something. But I don't really look at them too much, but I'd say Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Gotcha.
Fair enough. Okay.
As another guy would say. I also wanted to ask you about, you've had your run-ins with Mr. Low Tier God, even on a personal level. Yeah, I know you're familiar with the guy. Are you familiar with his beef with Darkside Phil? If anything, it's kind of a one-sided beef, but what do you know about it?
What do didn't they play a match back in the day?
They did back in the day, but earlier last year, DSP threw up that challenge during Evo that he wanted to play against Low Tier God, and their match would outshine Evo itself. They would get so many views that people would be jealous and pissed off. And this grudge still goes down nowadays, as recent as last week, I guess, or even 2 days ago or something. I haven't seen this, but it's fucking crazy. Yeah. So if you're wondering why Darkside Phil wears weird shirts with a floral theme on them nowadays, that's because LTG told him to focus on his sexy.
Mm-hmm.
No way. They're bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah, that actually happened.
And as an extension to that, you could probably say all of the new background stuff and all of that kind of stuff is
all the gamer
kind
shit.
Comes from that.
Yeah.
He's LTG changed his lifestyle, let's say. And now Philip is trying to challenge him again in recent times to do a match again, because again, he's emboldened by his new popularity. The internet loves me, dude. And LTG keeps raising his price and says, all right, you can pay me 10 grand, I'll do it. And then he said, all right, fuck it, 30 grand, I'll do it. And Phil doesn't catch the point where, like, if you don't want to do stuff, you raise your price so much that it won't happen.
He's being trolled. He's being fucking trolled, dude.
Exactly. Everyone can see that, except DSP, of course. Few more questions I want to ask about things that didn't maybe make the documentary, but could have.
Sure.
You played some Alpha ISM Radio, which was the radio show that Philip was on when he was always wasted. You played a clip of that. Did you contemplate or even think about putting in the episode where he measured his penis?
I've heard about it, but I couldn't. I don't think I found it.
It got taken down. He took it down, remember, after our stream.
The original got taken down, yeah. So I played it on my show, and it got taken down because I'm sure the original people are like, dude, we can't have this. So it got taken down, but I still have it. But yeah, the measuring penis was a classic one.
They actually shut it down?
Mm-hmm.
The next day, it got shut down after my show went live.
No way.
Yeah. I still got it, though. Don't worry. It won't be lost.
Wait, can we please have a retelling for June? Because we all know about this, and it's so scandalous.
Go on, go.
Yeah, so what happened was there's a female style member of the FGC named Angela, and she was on the show. And obviously, for a suave style guy like DSP, he gets hyped up, and he's extremely hyped up. And they start talking about things, and they talk about penis size in the end. And Philip says, okay, well, let's I don't know if Philip said this, but they kind of get to the idea of measuring
Angela brought
penis.
it up, didn't she?
She's talking about size. The guys ask stupid questions like, is size important to you, Angela? Stuff like that. So Philip takes it. He's the only one that actually went through with it. He got a Best Buy receipt and measured the girth of his member on the stream for the lady. And then
Shady K did, though, didn't he? He came back later.
Yeah.
So a couple of them did.
Yeah, it was a few people did it. But then he said, I didn't know I had to be erect. So he puts on some pornographic material on his laptop to get erect, and then says, well, Angela, I want you to remember this. I'm white. So my number's a little less, but I'm white. So it's just a cringy thing that most people, we all have cringy shit in our past, but we're not 22 years old. We're measuring fucking penises on the internet. Yeah. That's just me, baby. But anyways, I think it would have been too weird anyway. Like, it's kind of like such a hit over the head. You're like, well, what?
I would have added it. If I that's something that's so bizarre and funny. It. Like, yeah, I would have.
God damn it.
That's too strange and funny.
Yeah. How about, did you... Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link to the show afterwards, too. Don't worry. You can listen to it in your own time, at least. I want to show you, ask about the pronunciation of Phil's name. Okay?
Yes.
So, a lot of people are telling me, June, I don't want to... But did he purposely make it sound like fail? It did sound like fail.
I saw comments about that. No, I just said like Phil. I don't know. I thought that was like some people just like trying to egg Phil on. No, I really just said Phil.
Okay.
Right. So it might just sound like that. Yeah, it wasn't like yeah.
So was that totally your you're the one doing the voiceover, right? Just live there? Okay. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Because when people, there's a lot of we were kind of theorizing maybe he puts it through AI and then does it because it's very, your style is so uniform. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw some people say like adamant that it was AI. I was like, okay, cool. That's one way of doing it, but obviously that's not true.
Oh, no, it's not. The interesting thing is I do it like over the course of several days, so there should be like some different like changes, like in how you hear it. But I do it all myself.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, cool. There goes that. Debunked. How about what was your when you were going through all this shit? And I'm going to take away the bank leaks. I'm going to take away the incident from you here. But what was the thing that you were shocked to learn about that you didn't know before? Let's say before you started this, you know about maybe he jerked off on stream, he begs for money, whatever. Was there anything that you were like, holy shit, I didn't know about this?
So it was the one time I did include one of Phil's extended family members, and that was the troll that slept with his wife's sister. And that was whoa, this is. I couldn't believe it until I saw the pictures. I was like, okay, well then, there you go.
Classic.
It's still really bizarre, but yeah.
That's Kool-Aid girl, yeah. And I can tell you, when you put that tweet up saying, what are some, underappreciated or undercovered arcs or whatever, you put that tweet that had the Kool-Aid bath picture. I was like, oh man, June is going to make something good here. If he's got the bathtub in there, we're all right, boys. Don't worry. June's got it. I was hype. How about the valedictorian story? So obviously that one thing came up. You shared a picture of was that Phil? Because he didn't even know if that was him. That one picture of the guy that graduated. Yeah. I don't think that was him.
I don't know 100%, but like, so what happened was I gave like these things to my editors, and he made the decision to really zoom in on that. I'm like, okay, screw it. It might be, it might not be, whatever. It makes for better footage. It's like not very dangerous if it's not. I don't 100% know. I don't truly know.
And it goes by. It's not like you're like, right, let's
it's just like, I'm not like saying this is Phil, but I could see how someone would think that is Phil because it clearly it shows that picture. I don't know 100%.
Okay. How about because you said in the documentary you used the term yourself, superbly long-winded.
God, yes,
Is that safe to say that's how all your conversations were? Very similar.
Well, we didn't like speak like through audio. It was through text, and I was just a bit surprised. It's like I know he speaks like this, but like, and I've seen his writing on the forums. But just like through personal conversations with like really boiled down questions, like, hey, like, can you explain like how you use your money? And then he gives all this like other information. I'm like, well, no, but I found the answer right here. Like, you know what I mean? Like just buried. But yeah, God, it was very lengthy. Yeah.
Let's
the
say
interview
that
you did with him sort of followed along those lines as well. Had to be like 3/4 him talking.
Oh God, yeah. He would ask you 4 questions and then could get to. There was no question, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't remember if this was in the video because it's 4 hours long, but there was one point where he straight up just called his viewers lazy when he was playing Pokemon, and then he had a 1 hour long apology video. You have any recollection of that? Because that was epic.
I don't think I do. I don't remember that. I think
that was in there, I believe, right? I believe it was the Pokemon one where he said, you know what? I'm tired of it. Everyone's lazy. They're not coming out to the streams.
No,
I think it
was
Kingdom Hearts when people were complaining about Liana.
Oh, that was
thing. That was it.
Yeah, Liana got in there.
Yeah, because the Pokemon video is exactly what we just talked about of him being extremely long-winded when he could have just made a 10-minute long video. I'm sorry that I called my viewers lazy because they didn't show up to my stream, which is the quote is, I think the people are fucking lazy and don't want to show up to the stream. And then he made a hour-long video apology, basically saying, I'm sorry, but, and then we deflected on everybody else. So that's an excellent part. I wish that was in the video because, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that existed.
There's a lot of stuff, clearly. I do got to ask about my girl Kat here. You didn't get into much of her, much at all, really, and really for good reason. There's not much interesting there. She doesn't really seem to be a part of it. But did you find anything about her past, maybe that you thought maybe might be interesting or worth going into?
I know about her past, I should say, right?
Okay.
I know about like the car guy, right? As people know him as.
Yeah.
It just seemed like the little that I know, it just seems kind of depressing, and I wouldn't want to like really have that explored or whatever. And you know, like it wasn't like enough to really like go out of my way to like put it in there, like her sister, for example. Right? But I did learn those things. Just I didn't do that I didn't dig that deep, right?
Yep. And people only learned the stuff about her because Philip, again, challenged people to do that. They said she was undoxable. And when you do say stuff like that...
You challenge people, man. You don't do that. Like, that is... You're putting a target on yourself.
Yep. And it didn't take long. What did you think about... when you were interviewing Philip, or no, excuse me, Philip was interviewing you. I know it's tough to tell. But when they were talking about VTubers, right? And you said, like, you know, Philip was trying to say, why was that included, the VTubers part? And Philip said to you, VTubers are fixated on me. That's what he said.
I mean, if they were like only 3 VTubers and they only made one stream, I would believe him. But yeah, that was a bit like, yeah, no. No.
Very funny. There's no question there. That was just very funny for me.
Yeah.
Seeing that we pretty much know the context behind the VTubers being quote unquote fixated on him is him being trash at Legend of Zelda, and then they just made fun of him and was like, hey, this guy kind of sucks at this game. And that was it, basically.
Yeah.
A few more questions here. So you said how Phil on the proper interview, you talked about how Phil's like a straight line, right? He's like, he does this. This is one thing he doesn't change. So, you know, where do you see this thing ending, right? Because it literally can't go forever. It can't. So do you think Philip is more of a peter out style content creator someday, or will there be some kind of bombastic thing? Just in your speculative guess, I should say.
If in some other alternate universe that isn't this one, where that could be a possibility, it's a peter out. Like, I see it going until he can't, like, realistically pay his actual bills, until his fans are really watching him. Like, even his core audience that's stuck with him so long, I just see it as a peter out, because most people would have stopped, right? They would have stopped after the decline. They would have stopped after all these people, like, really hating on him. Most people would have stopped, but I just don't see him stopping unless he financially, can't do it anymore.
Then the trolls would win, and that's more important than the finances.
They would, and that's why it's going to be such a long time.
But wouldn't you see it as the more desperate he gets, the more explosive he gets? As in, what is happening right now? He's having huge drama shows, having his nemesis Keemstar on the show, having his nemesis Stuttering Craig on the show. Wouldn't that happen when he gets desperate enough?
Oh yeah, like there's going to be these explosive events to try to, like, revitalize, and things are going to keep on happening.
Yeah,
but that just won't stop Phil. He will keep coming back after, like, no matter what. He just keeps on coming back. That's his thing.
That's his strongest trait, I guess I should say. How about the animations, right? So that was fucking awesome. Those animations where how you depicted him and stuff. So were you careful about how they looked, or did you kind of want them to look a certain way? Because I think it's safe to say he wasn't the most positive style looking individual in those animations. You know what I'm saying? He looked crazy, wild. What directions did you give the animators, I guess, is my question.
I didn't even know.
Oh, really?
I got, like, hints about, like, hey, I'm doing this, but I gave complete freedom to my editors. I'm like, have at it. See what you can bring to me. And that it just keeps coming back that just keeps, like, being, like, the best decision, like, represented how, like, you want, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, huge respect for that. You should always give creatives their creative freedom.
Yeah.
And it paid off hugely, man. Like, the production value in your video, and this one in particular, is insane. Massive credit to the people that did it, and big shout outs.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
Great. They're great.
Is this going to be a regular thing now in your future June the King videos, this animation style?
We were talking about it, right? And there are some places where, like, game graphics would have fit to someone, like, that's not so gaming related, but to people who are, like, tangential to that, we do want to include more of that for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was fucking hype, like Meerkat said.
It was cool. It was really cool.
This just a few silly ones here. We asked our subscribers for some questions as well, so just a few silly ones here. Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite recipe from Poorly Cooking with the King you want to try out, or anything there?
Try out. I don't know, man. I don't. I'm not trying to eat that much, and I'm trying to, like, not gain too much weight. But if I had to choose one, maybe the tuna. I might tone it down on the mayo a bit, right? Just a little bit.
Look,
yeah, go ahead, Beercat.
As long as the grease goes down the toilet, it's all good. It's gonna work out perfect.
I didn't know about the life hack. I should start doing that. Like, how genius, really.
Few other ones here. So did you? Most documentaries kind of are telling a story. Now, did you have a storyline in mind, or use more video essay style and say, let the story happens as it happens, right? Documentaries, you know what I mean, right? Documentaries might have a story arc, or did you just say, this is what happens, I don't care how it kind of flows, right?
As in, like, the through lines you're talking about, like the narrative pieces.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, like that's another piece of, like, the start of research, like looking at other videos, you pick up on things, right? You pick up on, like, these themes. And the theme I wanted, like, there was a couple of themes. It was the finances, the decline of, like, Phil and, like, his social environment, and, like, where I wanted to, like, emphasize all these things and how he kind of lost it, and how even without, like, the trolls and such, it's just, personally, it's not a good place to be. So with those losses, that theme, that's what I was going for this video.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. Gotcha. Anyways,
gotcha. Well, I do have a question now that we're on to this. What do you think of DSP's interview style? How does it feel like to you?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It feels like it's just the product of someone who doesn't talk to people too often, right? I don't blame him on, like, you know what I mean? Like, he is very new to that kind of thing, I guess. Very
speaking to humans. Yes.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to like put him down on for it, but it's just it's a start. He could get better. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's a 42-year-old man, dude. It's like you can give him credit, but at some point it's like, how much credit can I give this guy when he's like middle-aged and he can't ask a guy a normal question without seeming like a fucking alien? And then the guy answers, and then he just says, "Gotcha," and we move on to the next question.
Yeah, like exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's where you end up if you kind of isolate yourself from people who are not on the internet. If you get my meaning, when I'm prodding.
Yes. Yes. I get your meaning. And you even said that to him right to his face. You were like, I think those interactions with other people are important. And Philip
he needs to get out of that. Yeah, like.
But then he came back with you like, yeah, I'm talking to more people. I'm talking to Keemstar. I'm talking to you went back again and said, no. I mean, people that don't know of you as Darkside Phil. And he still was like, well, you know, I'm talking to Kino Casino. You know, it was wild.
Like building like who you are like continuously off of like the internet people is just dang, dude, that's not good.
And what a place to start as well. Like your first foray into like public speaking or speaking with other human beings, and it's fucking Keemstar and Kino Casino. You know, like
boy, dude. Yeah, he's got to relearn it. He really has to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But all right, any other questions, boys? I think that exhausted my questions. We got a lot of good talk here. Go ahead, Meerkat.
I would like to ask you, at which point during your WWE Champions research were you as close to possible as convinced that this guy is down from the rafters?
I was already convinced. I already knew it. Like, I didn't need evidence. I'm like, okay, people believe this. I know. I personally feel it's true. If this many people are like going for it, like there wasn't like if you're talking like, is that what you mean? Like my personal like.
I mean, when did you know it was him? Right? When did you in your head know it was him? Right? I guess you said
no. Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, because most people need a smoking gun. Even people that have looked over all the evidence. If you're trying to give the guy credit, not accuse him of something that you're not entirely sure that he's guilty of. You need more evidence, but at this point, it starts piling up, and this guy just keeps denying all of it. It's like, at which point you just draw the line, and you're like, yeah, I think he's this guy. You know, I think he's down from the rafters.
Yeah, no, that was just, like, as soon as people are like, oh, he's this person, that's it. That's it. It made sense, like, with his financial woes and the kind of person he is. That's like, I didn't need much evidence. I just need people like, he's down from the rafters. I'm like, in my personal like belief, I'm like, I believe this. Let's look at the information, see how like true it is. I already believe it. My more so perspective in trying to like challenge it was like, okay, why can't it be real? You know, like convince me otherwise. You know, like but the information.
You know, just give us anything that shows it's not you. Besides saying give me anything, that's not true. You know.
Yeah. it just helps to like to take that perspective, like you know, when writing. But personally, I always believed it was him.
So a few questions for people, some super chats here. So let's get to these. So how do you feel about Phil lying to you, June? Because he did lie to you directly in the beginning about WB champion. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on that now that he has come out and says, yep, sorry, that was a lie, but I was cool now. People like me.
It's funny. That's it. Like it's just funny. Like you know who Phil is. It's like yeah, I expected it. It's funny.
Yeah, fair enough. Direct question: do you believe the selling of the account? It's do you believe the story
personally?
There?
I don't. There isn't much. I can't understand the logic behind it personally. I don't. But I'm not the one who's going to be like prodding like, hey Phil, like show me evidence, because it's like, you know. You believe what you believe, kind of deal.
Yeah. Yep. That thing with showing evidence with DSP is kind of an empty well. He's not known for doing that, really. So you're better off not even trying. But to me, it's really the boy who cried wolf. If you lie and lie and lie time and time again, eventually people are not going to trust you, and they're going to think you're guilty until proven innocent. And that's kind of the situation with him, because he just admitted to the people that put food in his mouth for decades that he's just been lying to them and accusing other people of being mentally ill and all that kind of stuff, and they should be hospitalized and institutionalized and all that other stuff for years now. That's his words, legitimately. And then he was like, one day he was like, LOL, I lied. Let's play Champions on stream now.
Give me $1,000, I'll rip a Hogan shirt. Yeah. Sound good?
For me, it's just kind of like, it's too convenient. It's too easy for him now. You know, his story doesn't have to change. You know, he used to say it wasn't his account, and he still can say it's not my account. So
it would have been better off, like, even like just him saying like, I still play it. I just still play it. Like, so what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there wouldn't be so much like what would be the investigation, like the continued obsession from there, right? Like,
I play it.
There wouldn't be much. It's like,
I think that's why, because we've said like this is a huge thing, and it should be a huge thing because he's admitting to playing it and all that stuff. It's everything to do with it, but because it's so wrapped up in the lie of, well, I used to, but now I don't. It feels like just another lie. So we're just going to carry on, and he's just going to keep lying about it. And like at some point down the line, he's going to be like, oh yeah, I was lying about that, by the way. All them times I told you I sold the account, I was lying about that. Still got it. Sold it now though. So we're just going to repeat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And not to even mention that he just admitted publicly on the internet that he committed bankruptcy fraud in 2020. He just straight up did. And he just admitted how he did it too. That he wrote off all the expenses that he got on Champions on that $5,000 of mystery expenses. Wow, guess what? People were right to question those. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's something. I mean, and again, and he keeps going back to it too, and he digs his own holes, you know, because when you lie a lot, it's tough to keep track of all the lies. So he says, like, we went line by line through all my business expenses, but then you say, okay, what's some business expenses? I don't know. The tax attorney knows it. Well, you just said you went through it line by line, so it seems like you might have some idea. I don't know.
Thank you for pointing that out as well, because then you cut to the bank leak call where the bankruptcy call where he's like, my business expenses, there's anything associated with the business, so it might be the cost of a game or it might be the cost of the internet, and he's just like, the more you lie,
yeah, it's just endless. Someone at June, will you do any interest in King Cobra or Cyrax documentaries in the future, June?
It's always there. It really is. I really just go off like community recommendations. Like, I am careful, like, to not cover someone that's like just hot for a period, but it looks like Cyrax and whatever, like they seem to be like really consistent in like getting the internet's attention. It's always a possibility. Always a possibility.
Mm-hmm. How about your take on the Wolverine story, which I know you've heard? You know what that is.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that was just like went to the store and he like, like if you can like refresh.
So he says about how he went to a store and he went there once a week, every week, to check out this Wolverine doll. He says, guys, I want this figure for my birthday. Please buy it now. His parents didn't buy it. They went back. It wasn't there. And he called his parents fucking stupid because they didn't buy it at the time. This is a story from, we're talking 30 years ago story about a single toy. And that does go into, I think, of kind of how maybe spoiled he might have been to have this deep memory of a single toy you did not get when you're that old. But it's funny. I don't know. Yeah. You didn't mention the Wolverine story either. Yeah, did you? I don't think you did, right?
No, but I guess I could. That's one of the, like, I didn't really, I went one way or another. But what it does, like the value that I see in it, is the reflection, not just the story itself, but like the way he reflects on it, right? Like you were saying, like how he was deserved, like how he deserved it, and like to still have like the viewpoint of like kind of like a child, even now. But there was that value, but that's just like one of the things that couldn't have made it in. It's just like more of an interesting bit to me, right?
It's more of a reiteration of everything he's saying anyway. There's a later edition where he goes, I did get a Wolverine figure, but it was like the second run or something like that, so it wasn't as valuable, it wasn't as as meaningful, and that was like the issue there with the Wolverine. But again, you're like, this is just another example of how Phil views things in this way. So yeah, it's just more repetition, isn't it?
Oh, I want to say shout outs for the quilts. The quilt video was hype. I love how that kind of stuff. That kind of slipped under our radar. I've never seen that one myself, and I was like, "Whoa, the quilts! That's $1,000 for a quilt! Hell yeah! Top of the world, man! Nice find on that one."
Thank you. Yeah, like just going through like all like the videos and whatever, like the tour. There was like a lot of like custom things, like the boob painting was also one of them. But like the thing about the quilt is like he said who made it, so I could find like this person's website and stuff. Like look at it from the Wayback Machine. It was like, oh, here's something new, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty hype. I guess I should ask as well, your take on the home protection hatchet. Someone's asking
Home
about
protection.
it.
Oh man, this is a new thing.
Yeah, so he has. You didn't bring it up in the documentary. No problem with that because it's very small. But he does have a home protection hatchet, which he has next to his door. And there's also a second home protection hatchet, which some people forget about, next to his bed. So just watch out. Don't sneak into his house, June. You might face the wrath of the hatchet.
I won't get wooden armor or something like that. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Just something else. Got you.
Yes.
Home protection hatchet. People usually have like a pad or gun or... I've never heard of hatchet. That's interesting.
Yes.
In a gated community as well.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, like, he has Phil, so there are crazy people online. It's more... It could happen. Not likely, but it could happen.
Yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Bearcat.
I guess he has the second one to even the odds in case somebody grabs the one that's actually next
He's looking
to his
for a
front
fight,
door.
man. He's looking for a fight. That's why there's two. They come to the front door. He's got one. It's like, come on, man. Let's do this. Let's parlay.
And another story
yeah,
that
go.
pops in my mind is about his smoke detector, because he
Yes.
turned it off because he believes that if there's a fire that starts in his house, or at the time the condo that was filled in with toys, he would just smell the smoke and wake up and be able to escape.
Well, like a sixth sense or something. Like, bro, I can just tell. You know what I mean?
Yes. And he actually also you did cover show the putting the paper towels around the door to stop the fire alarm. Right. I think he did a great job during the interview with Philip as well. Is talking about he kind of was trying to get you to say, like, why do you trust? You take my other sources as fact, but what Philip says you don't take as fact. And I think you really smartly answered that, saying, well, like, for example, Howard and Rambo, his friends that made that video. Why would they lie? When we have proof of you lying your head off, but I don't think they have reason to lie. And I thought that was a really smart comeback on that because, as why would they lie is the question. And Philip has every reason in the world to lie about how he's treated other people, which is obviously bad, right? I mean, that's just the long and short of it. But I thought that was an interesting comeback on that. And you rightfully so didn't just give in to what Philip was saying about how you took his. Why didn't you trust me as much as you trust everybody else? And I
remember that question actually. So the question, if you remember, it was John Rambo stating that he didn't ask respect the pact, like for payment, like, hey, do you guys want to get paid? And Phil was like, from his perspective, it's like, why would you say I was bold-faced lying? And like, I was trying to remember it at that point, but I do remember it now more clearly. It's because he did lie. He whenever he was reacting to their podcast, he did exactly lie. It's like, oh, I lied. I didn't contact Respect the Pack, and I told like John Rambo this. So he was indeed bold-faced lying at that moment too. Like not just like per intuition. He was factually bold-faced lying at that point.
Yes. So tough to trust it.
And as somebody who works on video projects, much like Project 7, how do you think a process like this should go? You should just probably propose money to people that are working for you, or what is your process as a professional?
So my process, I mean, it's like YouTube is a much different space now, right? It's more understandable that like shout outs don't have too much currency. Like, most people don't have like that kind of power to like divert an audience. Payment is always the best thing, especially if it's something more long-term, more... It's just, like, clear. It's like, if you're going to have someone work for you, like, well, pay them. Unless you're, like, good friends and they owe you a favor, but it just avoids so many problems. Like, just pay them. Just pay them.
Yeah.
I thought it was especially telling when that came up, though, and instead of saying, oh, I'll make an effort to be a better person in future, it was, I'll make sure to get a contract, like that...
Yeah.
I mean, as you've seen, the one thing that Phil is very consistent. Another one consistent thing is every single person he's interacted with on any level becomes an enemy in time. You will be an enemy, June. It's just a win. right? Everyone possible becomes an enemy at some point. Every single person in the storyline through 16 years becomes an enemy, and it's just about when it happens. You know, it could be his best friends, it could be his girlfriend of 6 years, it could be his parents. They're all enemies at some point, and it's going to happen to you too, June. Hate to break it to you, but
wait, really, dude?
Whoa.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
No,
you're going under the bus, mate. Yeah.
At some point, Kat's time will come if it hasn't already. She gets blamed for stuff all the time. Oh yeah, but anyway.
And also, I want to ask you about his logic that he's applying here. That just because your video didn't hit 1 million views already, it's essentially a nothing burger. And it's not telling people anything that they care about knowing, and it's not controversial in any way. I know he's just saying this to make himself feel comfortable, but what do you think about that? What's the logic behind that you can find?
Well, if he's quantifying like effect on the community by views, I'd say if this video continues to get like just consistent views over time, then that clip won't look too good on him, right? If it does like continually get more, yeah, it could look pretty funny in the future.
Yeah, it will. God, yes. And I love how he's saying, like, you know, remember he reacted to the Ryutech USA documentary, and that was the felting and all that shit. That video was out a month ago, has 890,000 views. I'm using Phil's logic here only here. So Ryutech's video has 890,000 views in 1 month. Phillips in 13 days has 750,000 views. And that's 4 hours long. So it's going to cross over Ryutech USA. So I can't wait to hear DSP says, well, I guess it wasn't a nothing burger then, huh?
Yeah.
But we're not going to
Which
get that.
also leads me to ask, and I want to ask you, June, on this, as somebody who extensively covered both ReviewTech USA and Darkside Phil, who do you think is more appealing as a lolcow to the general audience?
Phil. To me, it is to an extent like it's hard to like watch Phil's streams, but like the arc and the narrative around him, I find Phil more entertaining and more comfortable. Rich, his story is definitely more sad. Like some aspects are genuinely like really like damn, dude, like that's fucked. Like the thing that happened with his daughter and shit. Like that just sucks. That really sucks.
Okay, but now extrapolating on that, Phil or Boogie?
Phil again. Oh man, Phil.
We're laying down the gauntlet here. Anyways, all right. Yeah. All right, we're circling here. Any final questions, boys, before we let you?
Actually, interesting enough, since June also covered Wings, would you say Phil or Wings? Who is more appealing of a lolcow?
Wings. He has things happen more frequently and more silly.
Ooh.
Like, right? Like, just his reactions are just like more hilarious, personally to me. Like, recalling that one time he got like delivered a salad, right? And he's like, he's ruffling through, he's looking through, and he's like, "There's no ranch. You kidding me? How can he eat this without ranch? You kidding me?" Just throws it away. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very different, but they do serve a purpose. All of their lolcowdom, and you know everyone has their place. But so before we let you go, June, we know you're working on Medicare. I know you're working on a few other things, but let's pimp that out. What are you working on that's coming out in the future here?
So besides Medicare, I'm working on Dr. Disrespect, as I mentioned here, and also on Lily Orchard, which may be the longest of the those three videos right now. Yeah.
How are you? I know you reached out to Sir Medicare. Are you supposed to get an interview for him to be a part of that, or how's it going to work?
Possibly, like I don't know, like it. If he doesn't reach out like within this coming month, I'm not going to push for it. Like I'm not. Yeah. I just want him to let him live his life. I want to reach out to you, but right. I don't want to pressure him at all. Like, if he doesn't get there like within this month, I'll just like make it as I see it, because there is like already a lot of information out there. He's answered a lot of questions throughout the years, so yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Cool. But all right, June, we will let you go. We'll read super chats after you get out of here. But I want to say thanks so much for joining us today, man. It is very meaningful to us. You did a great fucking job, and we love you
guys.
Dude.
No,
You're
it was great having being on here, man. I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, definitely. Big ups, man. All right, let's let June go. There we go. Let's get our decompression in here, guys. Woo! Great job.
Oh my god, that June guy, he fucking sucks, man. I hate him.
That was fucking fun.
I got nothing on my sweepstakes.
June haters.
Yeah. Let's monetize the June haters. Yeah. Well, that was sweet, man. That was awesome. June's a good guy, dude. Good guy. But yeah, let's read the super chats here, and we'll go in chronological order here before we let you go on our beautiful day here to do whatever you want to do.
What if
business down? Yeah, go ahead, Meerkat.
What if the super chats are asking June questions? Can I?
No, I
reply to
asked
them?
those. I asked those already. I was smart enough. I'm very smart. Sam has a business style announcement he wants to announce right now. Go, Sam. Business style announcement.
Yes, I'm happy to say that I got another video edited and we'll be redirecting to it afterwards. Someone always says Sam's got a video coming out after. It's not that. I do edited highlights for the. Sorry, but but you take what you can get. So yeah, there's a highlight, and it's a classic highlight this time. We're going really back in time. So
way back, 15 years ago.
You guys think let's have a behind the scenes session right now on the stream,
please,
so people get an inside look of what we actually do when we end the show, which we don't actually do. You think we guys should clip our stuff and have a that being clipped channel? It's gonna be so hype.
Like I think we legitimately, I think we should have that, but like I don't have time to do it. Is my problem. So I know, who has time to do that is the question.
I did wonder about that actually, because you always see these kind of podcasty shows, and they'll have a second channel for this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I wonder about the benefits of that. I'm like, what is the point of that?
The hurdle is that we have a podcast about Dark Side Phil. Which is a pretty niche thing. So people that already know about Dark Side Phil, chances are they know we exist. Like us, dislike us, they know we are a thing. So if they wanted to watch it, they would watch it. If they didn't, they wouldn't. So I don't know.
Well,
Nerd Brew said, call it that was said. Nerd Brew said.
Very good.
We could
pay
open it
someone,
up.
Perhaps get a contract.
Yeah, get a contract. We'll pay you an exposure though. So don't.
We'll give you a shout out.
We'll give you the. Anyways,
well, technically, I mean, we do have, I guess, more exposure speaking in numbers than DSP, so we should pay them more than DSP pays his anonymous editors that don't want to shout out.
Correct. We should.
True.
I think there's. I think there's some value there, but
sorry, they get to submit videos to the React channel. We don't do that. So what can we offer an editor? Yeah.
True.
I don't know. I think there'd be something. I mean, it would be funny, and it would be, I think beneficial for everybody to have like funny moments. But like, I think it should only happen when there is legitimately parts that are worth it, right? So like, you don't want to make it like, all right, well, we got to clip this show. That kind of sucked, So
yeah, exactly. This clip coming up is one that I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I've tried to make a short out of it. I should say this is Lemtex's fault. I blame him, but it was a classic clip in his opinion. So I was like, at the time I was trying to make shorts, and I couldn't cut it down to under a minute, so I left it for a while and finished it up recently, and it's only about 8 minutes this time, but yeah.
Fuck shorts. I think that's the way to go. It's separate videos. But
I don't know, because like I'm just really happy that short with 6 million became a thing on King Jad stream. There's some value to it, but again, it's like it has to happen. It's not going to be like every show. Oh, there's a short. Oh, there's a clip.
Exactly.
Organic. It's better that way.
That was one of those bits that just knocked us fucking down. We were like normally getting bits yet. And that was one of those times like, whoa. Kaiser, legend.
Dude, the bit.
Cemented
you know
himself.
what?
Yep.
We should make it wow, that's such a self-serving competition. But we should have a competition about people going back and watching our shit and actually clipping it and sending us the best moments so we can re-upload it.
Make it a competition. All right, guys.
Do my work for us.
Actually, this competition is a weekly competition. So what you're gonna do is clip the funniest moments from every show and send it to us every week, and we'll see who's the best every week. We also have rights to upload it on our channel. Got it?
The winner gets every
week. For some reason, the way
Gugas.
For some reason, the way Meerkat explained it, I was imagining us watching the person reacting to it. And laughing at it and going, oh, that's a good one. I'll send it to them, and we get to see that,
We'll pay you an exposure. You get your own section of the Discord. That'll be pretty cool. A lot of exposure there. You're gonna love it.
You can get your own custom role. That's called whatever you want. Fuck it. I can do that for free anytime. Just ping me.
We don't have like an employee of the month thing behind one of us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Could do.
It'd be awesome. You get a special chat crown badge. All right, anyways. Let's move on. That's an idea. We didn't come to a conclusion, though. That's what we always do, by the way, guys, is we have ideas and we talk about them, and then there's no conclusion. We say, all right, guys, see you next time.
We forget about
That's
it.
what always happens.
Someone makes something and it gets forgotten about, and then like 2 months later, I'll go, that was a good idea, and then finish it off. Or,
Yeah. That's what it takes for us to do stuff. We got to think about our next contest. We got a lot of behind-the-scenes style things to talk about. It's been a while now. But anyways. Are we safe to read the contributions now, boys?
Yeah.
Are you cool?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Barrett Wells, member for 24 fucking months. Can you believe it? That's 2 years, my friends. We've been having memberships. Says, I just want to thank, that being said, WPIG and guests for the amazing coverage this past week. Big ups, Snort Xers. Big ups, Barrett Wells, to you. Been here since, I believe, the very first show. I want to say, Barrett Wells. That's not exaggeration. Since we started this, so big ups. Yeah. Frog Who Once Alone, big ups for membership. Snort Exchange in the house, membership. Big ups to Snort Exchange. What coins are going on now? I got to check it out. Infamous KS in the house.
Coin is up. It's always up.
Yeah. Cope Phil in the house. Donkey Gong with the gift. Big ups. Kyle Denson says, one thing I love about Phil is that he keeps feeding us something to talk about with him. Unlike Wings, whose trolls are always malnourished. Malnourished trolls. I think that's why, though, honestly, that creates that makes them do more shit. Would you agree with that, Meerkat?
All the Wings trolls look like me, and they weigh like 10 pounds less than me. Anyways, I just came back from the bathroom, so I'm supposed to answer your question with I don't know, man. I guess so. Gotcha.
Fair enough. Barrett Wells in the house again says, big ups to June for telling Phil we aren't all lunatics. 99% of us just point and laugh, make memes, and do art. I need to do more animations. Yes, you do, Barrett Wells. Come on.
Bro,
we love it.
You just had like a baby. You are fine to take a bit of time
That's
off.
true, too.
And not,
That's true, too.
not animate stuff.
Yeah,
it's cool,
definitely.
Man. Take your time.
Fuck them
Or
kids.
you can exploit that baby for views and shout outs from other people. Please do that.
Yeah. Oh, 2 months old. They're almost walking by now. Come on,
dude.
Give her, throw her a Pop-Tart and get to work.
I'm coming up with sketch ideas right now. You can put a fucking goatee on that baby and have like a baby DSP.
Yeah. You
Come on,
could be reliving
nobody's done that.
Or just really just add one person to that that massive picture of the detractor Avengers.
Yeah.
Like do that every week. Just put one more person and go, guys, I've added, and just keep that going.
That's a good bit. Speaking of Kaiser in the house says, big up Sir June. Which piece of detractor content did you enjoy the most? I did not ask that. I apologize. I will cut off my own finger for that. It seems like you are a fellow DSP puppet enjoyer. I did not ask that, Kaiser. You're a legend. I should have. Failure. I failed you. Jay Ruiz says, guys, talking about the guy. Has June punched a bee? A lot of people ask that. I was not going to ask June a mean question like that. Come on,
was
guys.
so tempted to ask him that. You don't know. You don't understand. I kept looking over at chat and seeing it, and
I decided against it. I saw a lot of Jonathan Frakes style questions that I was not going to ask. He's a man. He's a busy man. Come on. Scrappy says, how does June feel about Phil lying to him? I did ask that, Scrappy. Give me props for that. Jasper the Cat says, Sir June, what? You didn't cover the murder of T. Carter? I didn't want to ask about that. Hamster Havoc? I didn't want to ask about that. And the mutilation of Jasper the Cat? I didn't want to ask about that. By the way, have you seen my claws? Thank you, Jasper. That was a funny one, but I didn't feel appropriate to ask about that.
Yeah,
Paul Turner
just so
said,
we're clear, he got away with all of these crimes. Such an injustice.
Paul Turner says, does June buy the lie about selling the account? I did ask that one, Paul Turner. You're a legend. Fats12 says, you have to reinstall a legacy version of Discord. Oh, yeah. With that fucking interview with June. And the best part is he was flexing. I think June will be a little bit more professional than Craig was because he had all kind of issues. So it's got to be way more professional. And then that shit happened. That was the best.
Unbelievable.
Craig's got like one issue where he didn't turn the noise gate down or up. And it's like that. That's all it was. 30 minutes.
DSP had to change computers. You know? Sam, do you have a sound clip for this moment or you want to save it?
I don't. Or do I?
You played it for me.
Oh, sorry. Hang on.
Yeah, that one.
Wait.
Play it.
Yeah. Sorry. I was gonna play it right at the end of the stream, but oh well. Here it is. Here it is.
Hello?
Is it me you're looking for? All right, let's go. Hate Army says, did June call him fail on purpose? I did ask that, Hate Army. I did ask that. Copeside Phil says he's begging more than ever before. Every time Phil said he agreed with June, he lied. He feels the exact opposite. There's so much proof for it. Yeah, that was the best part of the interview with June was ask June a question. June doesn't give the answer he wants, and then Phil will be like, oh, yeah, well, what I was trying to say was, I thought you asked June's opinion, not what you were trying to say.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious in all these interviews. DSP's idea is to lead them onto an answer that he wants to hear, so it makes him look good.
Well, you could clip it then. You'd be like, look, June agrees with me about detractors being mad.
Yeah.
That's the upload, yeah.
June says all detractors are unhinged, but June's not giving it to him, so... MJ says, can we address the 2K cat reveal scam and WB account? I think we addressed those. The cat was definitely addressed in the documentary, and the WB Champions obviously extensively covered, so... Splody Jesus says, has June seen Broside Phil's haircut bank leaks vid? I did not ask that specific question, but we kind of asked. I talked about the bank leaks enough.
Yeah.
I thought I was fine to skip that one. Splody Jesus, you're a legend.
It's the matching up the transactions with things Phil talked about, like the Burger King and the transaction appearing there.
I nearly started on that whole avenue of talking about the contradictions in the way that he's responded to it and all that kind of stuff, but you know what's more to be said. I find all that more interesting than the bank leaks themselves. Is just the way, you know, you saw them initially and you're like, fucking lie your way out of this one then, and he does, you know. It's just like and then you get all the, you know, it's what does he call it, not data, what's he referred to
identity
as?
Theft.
Identity theft. And and one day it's that, one day they're fake, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
It's
Actually, you did a phenomenal job on that video because it shows all the different narratives this guy had. Because one day it was they couldn't take any money from my account. Then the next day it was they took $9,000 from my account. And then the last day it was they couldn't take any money from my account because I don't have that much.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably been so much more to add to it as well. Like since then. Oh well.
Splody Jesus says Phil. Okay, this is from Splody Jesus. Says Phil's credibility is like cat's ankles, shattered. All right, Splody Jesus, you're not going to heaven with talk like that. You are not going to heaven, sir. Copeside Phil says, will June do a doc on King Kyber? I asked that, Copeside Phil. Praise me. I asked that. Alex Henkel Mailspin said, ask June about the intriguing story about the Wolverine. I asked about Wolverine's story. Pick up Snowden for popping. ES says, since DSP is a different person now, would June do a doc addendum to cover how different he is now compared to a few weeks ago? And I did not ask that, but I think we got the answer anyway. Like he just doesn't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think Phil tried to push him down that route as well. And what can you say?
Rugged Wogan says, ask June if he was intentionally calling DSP fail instead of Phil. I did ask that one. It did sound like fail, legitimately, in many places. But UNFW says, Derek was one of the very few actual Phil fans in his chat out of all of the current LARPers in his chat. I think he didn't want to lose a real fan of his. And there's something to be said for that, too. I think Phil knows his amount of real fans from the past are very low, and maybe he wants to hold on to that. But holding on to that doesn't seem good, but all right. BR Joe says, Dave mistaking Jasper with Derek was weird too. Yeah, that's a little interesting to say the least.
He made a whole short out of this too. He's like, whoa, streamer calls his cat the fan's name.
You called me that during Bug Snacks Part 71. Sanchini with the pop, big ups. Brett Munger says, Phil is in a way a form of a cult leader. Whatever he says, they take as the complete truth. Cult leaders also lie completely. What did he just admit to? Gives me Heaven's Gate vibes. Yeah. Some have made that connection.
It rocks because it's almost beat by beat the same strategy that cult leaders would use, but it's completely unintentional, I feel. It's like just so it happens that he runs a cult. He doesn't intend on it, but this is just the person he is. And it just ends up him manipulating people as if they were in a cult.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
completely the same social and psychological like mechanics underpinning it. It. Like you said, he didn't intentionally start out like this, but I mean, even like the first real notable detractor is DSP cult leader. So even back then, like this is how you don't play, people were picking up on that and going, "Hang on a minute, mate." So yeah, it's just the way he is. How it's like
I think it's that
through.
As June pointed out, you know, his fan base has been diluted and diluted and diluted. And if you're left from there, you got to be a very special style individual. You know what I mean? And June pointed that out beautifully. And also, I think the one thing that makes it more cult-like than anything else is don't believe what you see or hear outside of this, right?
Yeah.
Don't believe what you see. Don't believe your ears or eyes. Come on. Trust me. Only me. And people that are telling the truth about things, don't worry about that. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You come up with your own decisions. But Philip will actively tell you, don't watch anything else, right? Don't, you know, if you hear it not from me, it's a lie, you know?
The people that are telling the truth just actively tell you to go out there and listen to everybody else and make up your own mind. Because they're telling the truth. Like, why would I tell you to listen to only me when I'm telling the truth? You can just go and hear it from other people.
That focus on the overwhelming group consensus is an aspect of groupthink, Philip. It's not just conformity. That's what groupthink actually means. You said it again.
This is our show.
yeah, we own that name now.
Dissension in the House says the guy action figure raised money for charity too. Yes, we did. Raised money for charity. What's the guy? Missed the guy. What an update on the guy. How's he doing? Where is our guy? You know, is he in some glass case?
I think we get emails periodically from the guy that bought the guy telling us that he's going to make a review and send it to us, but he never did.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on an update on the guy. Hopefully he's doing well wherever he is. Barrett Wells in the house again says a return of Secret Limited would be great for this year, even if they vanish afterwards. Yep, we all want it. Secret Limited, you did everything correct. Nothing incorrect. You're proven correct. Even more than ever.
And that's the 3 months.
Yeah. Who knows? Top 10 list this year? That'd be pretty hype. Come on, Secret Limited. Jay Uso says, from goat laughs to phlegm sniffs, the DSP story. Good name. Solid. Mustard and Fries says, Phil has said it himself. He's a man-child, and if people approach him without glazing him first, he hates them and dismisses them. And he has said things to that effect, yes. If you come at me with anger, that means I automatically hate you or whatever. You know, that stuff. Mustard and Fries says, DSP admitted doing the same thing LTG is doing to him with Keem and the emails. Only difference is LTG jokes about it and DSP was acting serious. Correct. DSP is very serious about the LTG stuff. Like, he thinks LTG is poor or whatever, and like he wants money. That's why he's offering he wants 30,000. When he doesn't fucking get into his brain that LTG really just doesn't want to do it. So we'll keep raising his price until you get the hint. Like, does LTG have to say $1 million and then will you get the hint, DSP? You know, just move on. He's not that into you. It's pretty simple, right? But who knows? Trent Brown says, to be fair about Phil learning how to talk to people at 42, Meerkat, you can watch an old dog. You can teach an old dog new tricks. ALT knows what I'm talking about. Thank you. Thanks for bringing me into that.
Oh, yeah.
You can learn new tricks, guys. Smoke One Mo Gaming says, why didn't he cover more of the horrible way he talks to viewers? Because they say something he disagrees with. Smoke One Mo Gaming. You know, again, I could have asked that. I did not. But I think he covered it pretty well. He treats his fans, honestly. I mean, I think there's enough of that. There could be more. Okay. But, you know. Good Freak says, June, do you love... Okay, I'll ask Meerkat instead. I saw you, June. Good Freak. Meerkat, do you love to go wandering beneath a clear blue sky?
Sure.
Thank you.
I don't know. I guess.
Who doesn't? Mickey Thor says, June, he really thinks he's going to defend his horse stable with a hatchet. Did you know he's a badass? Yeah, that was the home protection hatchet. Groovy Bones says, how do you separate what you're sure is true versus what you can't put in a documentary? Missed the 6-hour video, Steve. Yes, he's working on one now, though, right,
Dude,
Steve?
the next one's going to be about 8, if not 9.
There you go.
Fuck.
There you go. 94 Bad Boy Boogie says, how much money do you think Phil has spent on mobile games so far? I think the estimate now is 200 something or something like that. Who knows?
1,000?
Yeah, $250,000 easily.
Yeah.
$250,000 or something. Yeah. So there we go. And GBRC, Adrian, Movie Sign, and Scumbag Josh popping memberships. You guys are fucking legends. And that is it. My friends, I hope you had a very meaningful time. Hope it was meaningful for you. It was definitely meaningful for me. Steve, final words on today's activities.
I've finally done all the analysis, so I just have to record and then edit some shit together, and I'm done.
Hey, coming out soon. Meerkat, final words, please.
Final words.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, that was it. Final word.
Oh, I thought you like
good to
ended
me.
and you told us to fuck up.
Go and look up some cool clips and clip them and send it to us so we can pay you an exposure, you idiot.
Go fuck. All right, Sam, send us home, please.
Yeah, or just at least if we don't do this idea, just send me more ideas of stuff to clip if there are any, and I will maybe edit them. But yeah, other than that, I'll choose a random one of these. And goodbye, everyone.
The flaming ass burger.
Thanks, Phil. Goodbye.
This one goes out to the one and only, the big cat, the fat cat. Big ups. I first saw you in Burger King. You took 2 seats 'cause that ass is way too big. Had a boyfriend, I realized, but you told him lies with your raccoon eyes. The DoorDash is here. Wipe away your tears. Got you extra fries, and they taste just right. Have no fear, there's no trolls here. Tevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Tevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Take you power walking.
For now.
Hello?
For now.
Hello?